Hey dreamers, Bryce here from Midnight Notion, singer-songwriter, musician, big fan of Metallica, but I have no idea what my favorite Metallica song is. Could it be My World? Let's use math to find out. Cue the intro.
So Ted, give it to me now!
For the best Metallica song! My World. We're over halfway through this record, and because we are where we are, I have to give a Saint Anger disclaimer. Shut up about the snare. We don't care about your opinions of the snare. We know about it already. We've heard all the memes. We've seen all the memes. We're done with it. We're not talking about the snare drum. We're talking about the song itself. We're going to listen to it, you and I. I'm going to stop it every time I hear something interesting, point it out, maybe teach you a few things. Maybe you'll teach me some things in the comments. And then I'm going to grade it using the following criteria: composition, memorability, emotional response, instrumentation, and lyrics. Each category is a 0 to 4 scale with a grand total of 20 possible points. We'll find out at the end if the song has what it takes to get to the top 20. Without further ado, let's get into My World. My World. Cool. I talk a lot about threes or having a sequence of parts and then a tag on the end. This song is already doing something great in that concept. Those stops. Bum, 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 da da da, bum, 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 bum. Da, da, da. While they're doing the stops, one guitar is just bop, blop, blop. The other guitar is keeping on the riff. Dun, 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 dun. So we're just emphasizing those hits. But then let's see here. They do it twice with the stops, with the muted cymbals, with the stops on the one guitar. But then the third time through, something interesting happens. All instruments, all of them, just do the stops. Bum, 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 ba, ba, ba. All of them. And then the fourth time, bum, bum, and then snare, tom, do, do, do. It's a really cool breakdown of the riff. We got a nice intro here. On any other record, in different tuning, in a different recording style, in a different era, we would have thought this was an excellent intro to an excellent Metallica song. So far, so good.
Someone else instead. It's my world now. It's my world now. It's my world. It's my world.
We got a cool effect on the vocals. Whirl, 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 whirl. I don't know if it's a delay or if they recorded it multiple times. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, throughout the song, we'll hear a few different things going on with his voice where he's kind of recorded it offbeat, or he's done like a call and response kind of thing. Really interesting. I like that. My world, wah, wah, wah. It almost sounds like it's like attacking you, right? My world, it's coming for you. It's very cool. It's very cool. So far, this song has a pretty cool groove.
Why's it raining in my room? Cheer up, boy, clouds will move on soon. Heavy fog got me lost inside. Sit right back, enjoy this ride.
Something interesting, the drums, again, I have to point out the drums on every song on this record because they're the ones that are saving the day. Ultimately, we've really only had a couple guitar riffs in this entire song. Bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, ba, ba-na-na. And then ba-na-na-na-na. And that's pretty much all of the guitar. At one point, they hold out the note for a little bit. They maybe go up again, but it's really the same couple of notes over and over in different patterns. But for the most part, it's the same pattern all the way through. So we have the drums with a kick and cymbals. Pa, 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 ta. Okay. Then later, it's the snare and the cymbals. Ta, 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 ta. So he's really switching up those fills. At one point it's ba-dum, boom, ba-ka, ba-ka, ba-ka. So he's doing a lot of different stuff in the drums. He's keeping it interesting while the guitars are just phoning it in. It's not that it's a bad song so far, or a bad structure. They're doing what they need to. They're keeping it interesting. But I just want to point out that the savior of a song, when you don't have a lot of when you don't have a lot of guitar parts, the drummer can save the day. That's all I'm saying.
It's my world, you can't have it. It's my world, it's my world. It's my world, you can't have it. It's my world, it's my world. It's my world, you can't have it. It's my world, it's my world. It's my world, sucker.
That is a highlight for the record for me. Sucker! There's like that hi-hat. He's hitting the hi-hat open. He's like opening it, and then he's closing it with his foot. He's not striking it when it comes back down. It's just tss, tss. You can't see my foot. I'm trying to illustrate with my foot. Psst. But he's keeping it open, hitting it while it's open, and then he uses the foot pedal to close it, and that's got, it's just got that sound to it. Tss. It sounds like an S. It sounds like somebody's saying the letter S. So then he hits the snare, and it's almost like the snare is shutting up the hi-hat. It's like, be quiet, sucker! It sounds like the snare is saying what the vocals are saying. Sucker! It's a really cool, like, device to use in songs. I love when lyrics say bum 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 or da da da, or when they like emphasize the drum part with the words, but this time it's sucka. It's really, really cool. I have a song called Poisonous Love where I do something similar, where I say, I think I made a mistake, ka, and the ka, I say mistake, ka, but the ka is actually the snare drum hit. Made a mistake, ka, do do do. And I just think it's really fun. So really, really excellent. This is a high point in the record for me. That moment specifically, high point on the record. This riff is in, I believe, 6/4 or 3/4. Yeah, I think I would call it 6/4 because the rest of the song feels like it's going 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Now you could argue that those are the eighth notes, and you could call it dun, 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and you could count it that way if you want. For me, I tend to like to bob my head to the main beat. Bum, 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 bum. It sounds like it's faster to me, but I'm just some guy on the internet.
Who's in charge of my head today? Dancing devils and angels away. It's my time now.
They're having it, all right? This second, or I don't know, can you call this the second verse or the third verse? I'm already losing track. But remember, the first time we came into this part in the song, it was just a little bit longer. So they're shortening it for this post-chorus verse, and I appreciate that. Whenever you're writing a song, it's not that you can't have the same length of the verse all the way through. It's not that you can't just have, like, I'm not saying that everything should rely on a structure or follow the same patterns. I'm just saying it makes things interesting when the first verse and the second verse are different. That's all. It can be as minor as just your vocal melody goes up instead of down at the end. It could be just a little trill on the guitar. It could be anything. But so long as there's something a little bit different. I tend to favor structural changes where there's two verses in the beginning and one verse after the chorus, or where the verse is this long before and it's halved like we see here. I appreciate that.
It's my time now. It's my time. Yeah, it's my time. Look out, motherfuckers, here I come. I'm gonna make my head my home. The sons of bitches try to take my head. Try to make me someone else instead. Ooh, it's my world, you can't have it. It's my world. It's my world. It's my...
I I don't know who the low one is. There's one person just going, "It's my world. It's my world." And, you know, like I said before, a lot of them, everybody got involved on this record. So it could be Bob Rock. It could just be James, but he's not into it. Because whoever's delivering that lower one, "It's my world, it's my world," sounds bored to me. They don't sound like they're actually delivering a sung line. "It's my world, it's my world." I would like a little bit more energy from the backing vocals on this one.
My world, you can't have it. It's my world. It's my world. It's my world, you can't
It might be James.
have it. It's my world. It's my world. It's my world. Sucker. Yeah.
One thing that's interesting about this 6/4 riff, or 3/4, depending on how you count it, is because it's in threes, but the drums are playing in fours, and that's a really interesting lineup. Boom boom ka boom boom ka dum boom boom ka da boom ka. So he's hitting the snare on the 3, but then he's hitting it on the 2, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then so it's really on the 3 out of 6, and then the next time through it's on the 1 out of 6, and the, I don't know, 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6. So the 1 and the 5. It's a really interesting pattern, but by keeping it straight on the drums, you don't maybe notice initially that it's in an odd meter, even though 6 is an even number. You know what I mean? The count is strange, but the pattern stays straight, so it doesn't feel choppy. It doesn't feel like you've been dropped. It doesn't feel like you're being juggled around, like in, say, like a Dream Theater or Tool song, where you're like, "Where's the beat? Where's the beat? Where's the beat?"
Out my head. Out my head. Get 'em out my head. Get 'em out my head. Yeah, get 'em out.
Important thing to point out right here is that this is still the same riff. The only thing that's changed now is that the drums are playing something different. Again, this would be a great spot for a bridge, an alternate. Maybe go up to the 2, maybe go up to another part of the key. Any other change would be warmly welcome here. But the fact is that they're playing the same riff over and over and over again. So this kind of pulls it down instrumentally for me, because guys, we need something new. The last, what are we, track 6? What did I say, 6? We have had 6 songs already that have just overused the same 3 riffs over and over and over again. We need something fresh. We need a new riff in here. So this is me as a fan who loves the band, who actually really loves this song, just begging for some sort of change. It's just the same riff. We're going to get another change, but this would be the spot for it right here.
Only do I not know the answer. I don't even know what the question is. Only do I not know the answer. I don't even know what the question is.
Okay, so as funny as that line is, I don't know. I think that's kind of I don't know. It's cheeky. It's funny to me. I don't even know what the question is. This really embodies the rage they're trying to get out of this record, and so good job there. But it's the same riff over and over and over. We need a new riff. Now we finally get a new riff, and then we're going to come back to this. So I applaud the riff on its own. If you just took this riff out and just gave me do 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 do, and then you had the lyrics do what it just did, I think that would be fine. But it just, as a greater piece, right? We're grading the song as a whole. We're not grading the song as how great each individual riff is, because to be honest, every single riff on this record is pretty damn amazing. It's just that when they construct them together in ways that don't transition well, or maybe each section lasts a little longer than it should, That's what drags us down. That's what makes it unlistenable. That's what puts us like over the edge from being a fan to being disappointed. And that's the reason this album failed. It's not because of the snare drum. It's not because of the off-key singing. It's because of the production. That's my own 2 cents. I know that you could probably disagree, but I bet you anything, if these songs were just arranged a little bit more like what they always do, we would have been able to put up with the snare drum. I don't know. It's a hot take. I don't know, but that's just a guess. There's something interesting about this riff where you can hear like it's not a pinch harmonic. It feels like somebody's scraping the strings that they weren't supposed to be. There's like this. You can hear this tiny little squeak going on in the background. Listen really close to what the guitars are playing. It almost sounds like a lead guitar going do 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 do. I don't know if it's another instrument or if it's a background sound or it's just a mistake or if it's like the strings ringing out. I don't know officially what's going on, but I hear the sound and I can't unhear it. Where do we go from here? We go into this section that we've heard before already. I don't know how to feel because, God, it feels like It Only Rains on Me is a great verse. I love this section. It sounds fine on its own. I wish it was its own song. It just just something about it. Just the transition from not only do I not know the answer, I don't even know what the question is, to this section. They feel like 2 separate paths. It just it's got a different rhythm than the whole song. It's slower. It's more of a medium tempo. Now we're just kind of doing this steady like groove, whereas before we were we were going straight, we were having fun, we were headbanging, and we just kind of pulled back for what feels like half the song now. And it just doesn't feel like it fits to me. You tell me below, does it fit? Because to me, I feel like something's off.
Why not know the answer? I don't even know what the question is. Only do I not know the answer. I don't even know what the question is. Sucker! Out my head! Out my head! Out my head! Get 'em out my head! Get 'em out!
Little bass. This is kind of reminding me of the end of Battery. Do 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 do. It's got a very similar pattern to it, but nice little bass solo in there. The only real bass solo we're gonna get in this record, I think. It's a good one. Little kick.
Enough's enough, 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 enough's enough.
I would have loved to hear like that last line to be just like shut up, just like a final like suck, you suck. I don't know why I want the end to be a punchline or like a screw you, but there's something about that sucka. Maybe it should have just ended on sucka. What if it was like sucka and there was like that fall off on the end? I don't know. It's fine just going suck. I don't know if he's saying suck or if he's just making the sound, but either way, it's a good, solid ending. I like the ending of the song better than I like the middle section, and man, oh man, is that sucker section, like just going into that chorus, it gets me just pumped up every time. So even though I fell a little in the middle, I came up. Anyway, let's give this song some points. Here we go. Composition. Overall, there's a lot of stuff in this song that I really like, and so that makes me really happy. I love the build-up. I love the intro is pretty solid. The verse structure is fine. I apparently got lost somewhere while listening to the song and mistakenly told you that the second verse is halved of the first verse, but now looking at the lyrics again, it looks like it's the same length, so whoops, I guess I'm wrong sometimes. I do appreciate the time signature change, the playing in 3, but actually playing in 4 at the same time. It's pretty creative, pretty interesting. This one comes down for me because of that whole middle section. It just feels disjointed. It feels misplaced. Right? I'd love to see a version of this song that keeps that really awesome groove of the beginning half of the song, because I feel like that middle kind of drops out. And even though we got that fierce double kick pedal and ba 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 ba, that's pretty cool. But then we get to the God, why does it feel that it's always raining on me? I know I got those words wrong, but it just it feels like it just sucks the energy down. And then luckily it does bring it back, but it just feels like the whole song needs to be rearranged. That's all. Each element great on its own, but all together as one piece, it needs a little restructuring. So for me, compositionally, it's a 1. Memorability. I think there's a lot of stuff to remember about this song. I think that the cheeky line, not only do I not know the answer, I don't even know what the question is. I think it's just cheeky enough to kind of stick. They do it enough times as well. It's My World is very easy. It's my world. That's only 3 lines. Out My Head. That's another 3 lines. They're both repeated throughout. And of course the guitar part dun, 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 is pretty much the only guitar part in the song. So there's a lot of stuff to remember. So memorability, I'll give them points on this one. That's a 3. Emotional response. As much as I feel like that middle section brings me down, I do have to say there is a soft spot in my heart for this one. There's something about that sucker that just, like, I don't know why, it brings me joy. It's like a release of that negative energy. Sucker! You say it, just try it. Let's do it all together. 3, 2, 1. Sucker! It feels good to just get it out. So I don't know. There's a lot of headbanging to go on. There's a sucker. As much as I wish that it would be rearranged, I would be happy to hear it live, and I would definitely sing along. So I don't know. Emotional response. This one feels good to me. I'll give it a 3. Instrumentation. Once again, Lars is the savior. The guitars are doing basically nothing. We get a nice little bass solo from Bob Rock in there at the end, which is, I guess, refreshing for this record. But there really isn't much to speak of on this song, is there? There's no solos. There's no leads. It's really nothing but the same riff over and over and over again. And I realize, I know you can pick it apart. You can say that there's other little variations of it, but they're not really playing to the top of their ability. Not that we've seen. I mean, this is their 9th record, and we've had 8 other records with just some masterful guitar work, masterful bass work, and masterful drumming. Right now, if the drums is the only thing, and maybe some screams from James's voice, those things are pretty cool, but they're just not the Metallica we know and love. So again, it's not because of Saint Anger, it's because of this song just doesn't meet what they're able to do. So unfortunately, we're going to give this one a 2. Lyrics. Here again, I think a lot of this record has a lot of elementary lyrics, very beginner style lyrics. And I think if you're new to music, if you're a young musician and you've just started playing guitar, or you've maybe just started listening to songs or started writing your own songs, these don't feel so elementary to you, because I know that I was pretty young when I first heard this record, and I was making a lot of songs that sound just like it. And so I think that it could be inspiring to a younger audience, but to the long-running, die-hard Metallica fans who've been there through thick and thin, this just kind of fails to meet the poetic nature of James's previous endeavors. I think that maybe it's something to do with the fact that the whole band was writing lyrics. Maybe this is something that their psychiatrist chimed in on, or Bob Rock chimed in on, or maybe these are Lars lyrics. I don't know, but just this this notion of like, oh, I'm in my room and why is it cloudy all the time? And demons are in my head. I have this thing about bands that say voices in my head. There's a lot of bands out there, especially in the metal and hard rock genres, where they're like, these voices in my head are telling me to do bad things. It's like, shut up. You don't have voices in your head. You're trying to be creative, but you don't know what that is. There are actual dissociative identity disorders and schizophrenia, and just like pick up the DSM-5. There's plenty of mental disorders that have actual voices in their heads that we can't really make fun of that if we don't know what it's like. And also, you shouldn't make fun of it. And also, I know that they're not making fun of it. They're trying to put themselves in someone else's shoes, or they're trying to give a voice to their problems. But it's not a voice. It's just like, I don't know, just something about bands that write voices in my head telling me bad things. It just doesn't, it feels like a hoax to me. It feels like some sort of just front. Like I'm supposed to write about voices in my head because I'm a rock artist. Oh, voices. Oh, you don't have voices. Shut up, dude. Lyrically, it's a 1. And so My World gets a grand total of 10 points, which is not nearly enough to make it to the top 20. It's currently in 63 out of 83. So bottom 20, right? I don't know. Math is hard. Let's take a look at that top 20 once more. This list hasn't changed in several videos. So if you're new to the channel, here's what the list looks like. But if you've been here this whole time, you don't have anything, I don't have anything new to say about this. They're all great. So now it's your turn. Put in the comments below what you would give this song using my method. Really add up the points. Let me see what you're gonna give for each category. I want to know how it adds up. And make sure you check out my music, Midnight Notion. See if you can find some songs on there that might have some influence from My World or from the rest of Saint Anger. I bet you can find one or two. Spoiler alert, it's probably Sidewalk. And make sure you hit that subscribe button because tomorrow there's going to be a lot of shooting and apparently it's not the first time. Oh, that didn't come out right. Be kind to one another. I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.